Hello world, exactly 3 years ago today, George Bush beat John Kerry in a little election that we're going to have a repeat of in another year. But before we can get there, we have to go through the primary process. So this is going to be my little election candidate roundup, beatdown, whatever you want to call it. It's me talking about them. So I'm going to do this in alphabetical order because it's the only real fair way to do it, and I'm going to skip most of the Republicans because they leave a bad taste in my mouth and I really hate them. So, Joe Biden is what I like to call a piece of political furniture. He's been there for a very long time, since I believe 1973, and he's done a few good works. Ironically enough, he's been more of a women's rights activist than Hillary Clinton on the record, and I think he should really be in the Senate rather than on the campaign trail. He's the chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. I think the war in Iraq might be a foreign relations matter, Mr. Biden, and I think if he were there, he could do a lot more to affect policy, foreign policy, our policy in general, than he could on the campaign trail. He's also on the Judiciary Committee, and I want to divert a little bit to a very sad story that most people won't even know about. It's the confirmation of Judge Leslie Southwick to the federal bench. Southwick is a judge from Mississippi who read the N-word into the record, who called someone who he was judging the N-word into the record. And here he is, being nominated for the federal bench before the Judiciary Committee. And I'm horribly ashamed to say that he passed that confirmation process for two very simple reasons. The Republicans marched in lockstep. They all voted aye on the subject, including Arlen Specter, who I used to have a great deal of respect for, even though I parted ways with him on a lot of his decisions. I cannot respect someone who would support a racist. And Dianne Feinstein, a Democrat, voted for Southwick, but he only passed by one vote. It would have been a tie had one man, one Joseph Biden, been sitting in his seat to vote no. Instead, Biden was on the campaign trail in front of TV cameras going, and Southwick passed the confirmation process. It's a horrible thing, and I don't want to detour too much from what I was already talking about, but I just want to express how deeply concerned I am with a known racist being on the federal bench, especially with such a disproportionate number of black people in jail already. He's only going to contribute to that problem. Moving on to Hillary Clinton, she leaves as bad a taste in my mouth as many of the Republicans, but I kind of have to talk about her because she's the front runner, and I don't know who's voting for her, honestly. She's been called Cheney in a pantsuit, and I think that's a very wonderful description. I don't have much to say on the subject of Hillary Clinton. Much information is available, and she's just a nasty person. Warren 25/26 piece has talked a lot about her support for the Clinton sanctions on Iraq that helped kill 1 million children and a lot of other ugly things. And I don't understand why the female vote is standing behind her, because genderism has been such a historical problem, and with so many men throughout history supporting men for the simple reason that they are men, I thought that maybe when the shoe was on the other foot, women would be just a little bit smarter. But it turns out they are not. Chris Dodd is a lot like Joe Biden, a little bit more liberal version of Joe Biden. He's a piece of political furniture, been around since the 70s. He supports the decriminalization of marijuana, immigrants' rights. He's got a strong party line on union support. He's a good senator and a good candidate, but he doesn't have enough of that stage presence and charisma to really come out and take the vote by the scruff of the neck. So, like Joe Biden, I really think he ought to be sitting in his chair in the Senate rather than coming out and trying to become the president, which most of us know he's never going to be. We come to John Edwards. I admire his labor activism. He marches on picket lines, hundreds and hundreds of picket lines. He stands with the people, even though he's a very rich man. And I take comfort in the fact that he is willing to stand with us. However, his stance on homosexuality is regressive at best and almost Republican. And honestly, his position on most issues is kind of shaky or unclear. He doesn't really come on strong as a supporter for many things except for labor activism. So I have to wonder why he's running for president, except for the fact that he was running for vice president last time.
And you pointed your headlamp toward the horizon. We were the one thing in the galaxy God didn't have his eyes on. 900 cc's of raw whining power, no outstanding warrants for my arrest. Hi diddle-dee-dee, god damn, the pirate's life for me.